When a person understands how Hashem runs the world, a person can understand how he has to utilize his own powers. Rav Ovadia Yosef, alav shalom, when he left this world, nearly 1 million people, or more than 1 million people, came to his levaya.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
People from all walks of life. But there was one Chassid Gur that stuck out, that people really couldn't make the match. I mean, Rav Ovadia was Sephardi, he wasn't a Chassid. I mean, and they see this Chassid Gur crying hysterically beyond any control. Everyone's crying, but he's standing out. He's crying worse than everybody. So they approached him like, listen, we're curious, like everyone's sad, but you're extra. Like, Rav Ovadia wasn't the Rabbi of Gur. He says, what are you talking about? Rav Ovadia was more than a father to me. Everybody's shocked. Rav Ovadia was more than a father to you? Let me tell you the story. He said, years ago when I got married to a good woman. She went to seminary, she learned, she was good, everything was good. We had a couple of kids, and all of a sudden one day, my wife loses her mind. She tells me, that's it, I'm done with Judaism, I don't want to keep anything. I'm not going to eat kosher anymore, I'm not going to be tzanua anymore, I'm not going to the mikveh anymore, I'm not doing anything anymore, I'm not even eating kosher anymore. You want to stay with me? Leave me alone, I'll do whatever I want. No, that's it, you could take the kids, I'm out of here. I couldn't believe. My life was falling apart in front of me in a second. Any attempt to talk to her, to reason with her. Why? What did I do? Why are you doing this? Refused to talk, refused everything. I tried to bring the rabbis, the rebbes, nothing, nobody. And I'm crying one day. And one of the people in the Kehillah says to me, why are you crying? I said, why am I crying? My whole life is falling apart. What do you mean, why am I crying? And I tell him what happened to me. He says, you know what? You should go to Rav Ovadia Yosef. He said, who? Who's Rav Ovadia Yosef? He doesn't sound like one of the Rebbes here. He goes, no, he's not a Rebbe. He's a Dayan, a Sephardi Dayan. It's a Talmid Chacham. This is a story from over 50 years ago. This is before Rav Ovadia was the Rishon LeZion. He says, Rav Ovadia is a Talmid Chacham, but he has a sweet tongue. He has the words that he says, he can melt your heart. He knows he can help you. He's the only one that can help you. He says, where is he? He says, he's in Yerushalayim. The Chassid goes on a bus, and then another bus, and then another bus. 4 different buses to eventually go from Tel Aviv all the way to Yerushalayim. Not like today, how people travel much easier. 4 different buses. Eventually gets to Rav Ovadia's house in Shchunat Elkanah and the Elkanah street. And he knocks on the door and the Rabbanit opens. He says, please, I want to see Rav Ovadia Yosef. He says, I'm sorry, the Rav is studying. He goes, no, please, it's Pikuach Nefesh. The Rabbanit says, listen, the Rav studying is also Pikuach Nefesh. If you want, you can wait until he goes to Mincha and you can walk with him. But I am not going to interrupt him studying. Nothing in the world interrupts his studying. He's learning Torah, that's Pikuach Nefesh. The Chassid understood, respected it, and waited patiently. Eventually the time came for Mincha. The Rav came out of the place, and as soon as he came out, the Chassid was waiting for him. He says, Rabbi, can I please walk with you? He says, sure. And he tells him the story, and Rav Ovadia hears him, and he says, Rabbi, my whole life has fallen apart We took her to the Rebbe. We took her to the other Rebbe. We took her to everyone. Nothing worked. Everything fails. And I was told, only you can help. Everyone else failed. At that moment, Rav Ovadia told them, okay, let's go pray now. We'll pray mincha, and then I'll go with you to your house. They prayed, and said, we're going to go. Rav Ovadia said to the Rabbanit, okay, honey, I'm going to Tel Aviv. The Rabbanit was tzadikah, didn't ask any questions. She knew if the rabbi is going somewhere, there's a real reason for it, good reason for it. And on they go. And of course, the rabbi is with a book the whole time. She gives him a book. He's on a book the whole time. And the chassid is telling him when to get on and when to get off the buses. The rabbi's face is in the book the whole time. Few hours on the bus. Eventually they get to Tel Aviv after 4 different buses. And they get to the house. As soon as they get in, they say, 1 second, let me tell the wife that you're coming in. So she's ready. The guy comes in, he tells the wife that Rav Ovadia Yosef, who's a dayan, has come to talk to you. As soon as she hears this, she runs into her room, locks the door, and says, I'm not coming out. He's pleading with her, please, don't embarrass me, came all the way here. Nothing. He lets the rabbi in, says, just sit in the couch. And the rabbi starts learning on the couch. He's sitting over there learning. And the guy goes back to the room, says, please, let him come out. We'll just talk to him for a few minutes. No, why'd you bring him? I brought him all the way here. Please, I made the rabbi leave everything. 2.5 hours we're on the road. Just so he could talk to you. No, I told you to take him. I didn't tell you to bring him here. It's your problem. No, please, just a few minutes. He's pleading with her. Eventually he says, listen, only a couple of things and I'm leaving. That's it. Couple of things and I'm not going to listen to a long lecture. He says, no problem. Just 2 minutes. Okay. She agrees to come out, and they come in front of the rabbi. As soon as the rabbi realizes she's in front of him, puts the book down, he looks up, and then he starts crying, and crying, and crying. Hysterical crying to a point of just worse than death. And the chassid and his wife are now uncomfortable. They have no idea what just happened. And the rabbi is crying and cannot talk. He can't bring a word out of his mouth. He can't talk. He's just crying and crying, hysterical. The chassid didn't know. Rabbi, here's some water, please. Rabbi. And the rabbi's crying. And eventually the rabbi says, how could it be? How could it be that a kosher bat Israel is not going to want to go to the mikveh for family purity and be obligated on karet? How can it be? And then he starts crying even more and more and more until the woman understood she doesn't have a person in front of her. She has an angel of Hashem in front of her. She says, okay, Rabbi, it's okay, relax. I promise I will go to the mikveh. As soon as she said that, Rav Ovadia stopped, he stood up, and he started giving her such abundance of blessings she never heard before in her life. May Hashem bless you, and your kids, and all your kids are going to be Talmidei Chachamim, and you'll be praiseworthy, and you do this, and every blessing under the sun. As they finished, the rabbi went on 4 different buses, to go all the way back home. And when the Rabbanit saw him, says, Rabbi, why don't you have somebody else do it? Such late at night. And he says to her, to the Rabbanit, he said, I was the only one that can help. Now the chassid that's telling the story to the other people at the Levaya, he says, listen, Rav Ovadia didn't just help me. Today, I don't have just a couple of kids that I had at the time. Today, I have 7 children. And every one of the 7 children that I have is a Rosh Kollel, has his own Kollel, is tzaddik, is Chacham. My wife, she did TeShuva. She said I'm sorry for all the foolishness that she was doing. She did complete TeShuva, she's a complete tzadikah, and all 7 of my kids are tzadikim, Talmidei Chachamim, Rosh Kollel. Rav Ovadia didn't just fix my marriage, he built my house. When a person understands that they have to go to a specific person for salvation, that means that they're putting all of their trust in that person, or that army, or that country, or that material. And therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if you trust that person, if you trust that army, if you trust that friend, you trust that ally, I'll put you in their hands. And that in itself is a curse. But when a person puts themselves in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and says, En lanu melech ela ata, we have no king other than you, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if I'm your only king, if you don't have anything else, I have to fix it. I have to save you. If you don't have any other hope, then I have to save you. The greatest investment that a person can possibly do is to invest as much as possible into Kiruv.
I urge you to open up your heart, open up your wallet, support this incredible cause. By donating, you're not only helping others, but you're also opening the door to divine blessings in your own life by really setting Hashem's children on the right track. Let's make a difference together, one person at a time. Thank you, and may Hashem bless all the sponsors and grow the Bezrat Hashem organization.